Krishna Bhakti Angel Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Bhakti Angel Prabhu.
Ah, glory is this. Some of the devotees. I won't have a microphone for a few days. I'm trying to repair this one. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitina Hamene Namaste Saraswati Devi
Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvasesha Sunyavari Hashachare Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Or Premananda Prabhupada ki Jai. Reading from Bhagavad Gita is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Chapter 13, entitled Nature, the Enjoyer in Consciousness, Text 30.
Can you hear you good? Push the chair. You want to read with this?
Prakrityaiva chakarmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yapashyati tatmanam akataram sa pashyati. Translation. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. This body is made by material nature under the direction of the Supersoul, and whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. The self, however, is outside all these bodily activities. This body is given according to one's past desires. To fulfill desires, one is given the body with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. This transcendental vision of the living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. One who has such a vision is an actual seer. So, Prabhupada ki Jai. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. So yeah, the self, under the condition of this bodily concept of life, there's that picture in the Bhagavad Gita of the horses. You know, you've got the different bodily senses on the horse's chest, you know, like the eye, the ear, the tongue, smell, and they're uncontrolled, and they're just like out of, like, you know, like a horse that's just, what do they call it, bucks, and he just runs, and you lose control of them. And so we've got these 5 horses, or even more if you count the subtle senses, and they're just bucking, they're going all over the place because of our unbridled desires. But this process that the Parampara gives us through Srila Prabhupada, especially chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, brings those senses, or those wild horses, under control, and they'll go the direction we want them to go. And of course, the direction we want them to go is given by Chaitanya Guru, the spiritual master, who is the spiritual master of the Lord in the heart. He gives us this direction, you know, in this rare human birth, of how to direct the mind and the desires. And the desires is to not have a selfish motive to enjoy, but to please the senses of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada can teach us how to do that. You know, there's so many different rules and regulations. Somebody mentioned the other day, what's the difference between you and Christianity? And yeah, it's very similar, except they have 10 commandments, we have hundreds of commandments. It's like postgraduate study. And so Srila Prabhupada, he directs us on how to do that, and according to time and circumstances too. How to actually succeed in this way, especially with preaching and chanting. But the main things are, you know, 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, offering our food to a pure devotee, simple things that enable one to become detached from the bodily concept and desiring things on the bodily platform. And it says in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th chapter, you learn about the three modes of material nature, how they act upon us, what they are, how to transcend them. And in the 16th chapter and the 17th chapter, explains the characteristics of persons in the bodily concepts of life, of what the result is of being in the wrong, mode of consciousness, like passion and ignorance. It's very bad. You take lower births and further material bondage, and also impermanent results from your activities. Not favorable, and they're impermanent. But if you follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, you gradually attain spiritual perfection, and that spiritual perfection is developing you purify the senses, and that gradually, by this process, leads to pure love for Krishna. The specific things, no selfish motive, just be attuned to what the desires of the spiritual master are at this time and place. And generally, the number one is chant Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in the direction of the pure devotee, hear from the pure devotee's instructions, and that will be very beneficial in bringing about the peaceful condition we're always hankering after, because this bodily concept of life is definitely not peaceful.
Always an anxiety.
Yeah, especially in Kali Yuga. It's a very difficult age. Working hard and sleeping, it takes up so much time. And then there's some fleeting happiness, and then you grow old and die bewildered of what was the point. And then you do it again and again, or maybe you do it in an animal body, or maybe you go to a demigod for a little while, but like it says, Bhagavad Gita, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, or place of misery where repeated birth and death take place. So going to the heavenly planets will not solve your material body condition of the eternal spirit soul. That's Prabhupada was in that video in LA. You could hear the karate, people doing the martial arts next door. I think Vishnu John was asking him about Bhaktivinoda Thakur's business isn't finished, Prabhupada says, so finish it. But the point is that don't, there's instructions that you don't succeed in this process, you'll get a higher birth, like in a rich family or a very high Brahmin family, and you have an easier life to finish your Krishna consciousness without any material responsibilities as much, and like working so hard. But Prabhupada says better to do it now in this life, because there's no guarantee. And you can see by observation all these people that are taking birth in rich families, and even in Brahmin families, they're not doing very well spiritually. A lot of them, they're not taking advantage. So best not to count on that either. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Angel Prabhu. All glories to the some devotees. I don't know if you made it today to the, let's see, to the food program there on 4th Street in Tompkins Square Park. If you did, let us know. Shri Shri Radhamulidhar, Radhagovinda Gaur Premananda Shapapa Ki Jai. All glories to the some devotees. People are so attached to the illusion. That's right. Yeah, I heard that when my father, in his obituary, I didn't know this, that he's 87 years old. His pastime was he loved watching the Godfather movies over and over again. I never knew that, but and we know that Prabhupada said about Coca-Cola, you can't get satisfied by just saying Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola over and over again. But chanting Hare Krishna, you are satisfied. But yeah, people are really attached to some kind of, like people are attached to their cats. You know, it's like you can be talking to somebody, and I've seen this happen where, you know, you don't, you know, the person you might see at a store. I mean, there's this woman at a store, Trader Joe's, I remember her. She, you know, you'd say hello, it's all quick. And somehow the subject of dogs came up. And all of a sudden, oh, I love dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are my whole life, you know. I was like, oh, wow. So people, yeah, this illusion that these things in the material world will make you happy is
Yeah.
very strong.
Prabhupada, you know, he keeps listening to this lecture, and Prabhupada talks about loving dog or loving God. And he's insisting, yes, we are loving dog.
Yeah.
You know, that's where our propensity is going towards. And he, you know, he says for a few minutes you go into the church or the mosque, and you think you are loving God, but your mentality is not.
Yeah, living in the East Village for 15 years, every day I saw where Prabhupada got those dog analogies in his purports. he got those there in East Village, because everywhere you look,
Right.
someone's,
Why?
you know, picking up the dog stool or wiping its rear end with a piece of tissue. It's like, and they're serving dog.
Yeah, absolutely serving. Yeah, who are you going to serve?
I mean, I would
And
see
we
that
see
every
that.
day.
Yeah,
Like,
and we hear about it too.
all day. Yeah.
People.
Okay, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories and
Jai.
some devotees.
We're in a
See you in the morning.